Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys. Today taking on Leicester City, or as they say it in England, Leicester City. They spell Leicester with a lot of extra letters in England. It's a cultural thing. They also spell program with extra letters, color. If there's a letter that can be added to a word, England says yes. Nice weather here. It hasn't rained as much in South London as it did last year. We're starting Amankwa in goal today. And oh boy, that's a big, strong man. I'm a little intimidated. They all have blonde hair. Those Leicester boys. They got Schmeichel in goal. The real Leicester is in the Premier League now. I'm going to give you some dating advice, some romance and dating advice. I tweeted about this, and we got some questions. By the way, we're in 5th place, right nestled between Crystal Palace and Brighton and Hove Albion. And as you can see, Houdini has the most goals in the league, even more than John Green and John Green. It's been an incredible season, both for Houdini and for Dicko. But today it's John Green and John Green starting up front. New parents and Wimbly Womblys. Oh, man, they've got Roy Delat, the best free throw-in guy in the world, Meredith. I know that that's something that you're interested in. Give me some, what are some questions? How do you know if your crush likes you? Well, I mean, that's very complicated. I'm a big fan of asking. Ideally, do you agree, Meredith? And telling. Yeah, just saying like, oh, I have a little bit of a crush on you. It's not a big deal, because it's not really. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little crush. Romantic love isn't the only kind of love. Like, it's not the only important thing you're ever going to do in your life. It's just not that big of a deal. Why did you not continue your run? Oh, who was that? That is frustrating. Yeah, I'm a big fan of telling, of saying, like, I have a little crush on you. Do you have anything? Do you have a crush on me? If not, no big whoop. But if you do, maybe we could go to second. Not immediately. First. Yeah. Well, we can have a conversation about enthusiastic consent. I like conversations. People are always like, "Oh, you ruin it." No, you don't. You don't. Oh! Devastating. You don't ruin it to me by having by talking. Talking about whether what kind of relationship you want to have with a person or whether you want to date them. To me, like that, those open and honest conversations don't ruin it. They make it better. Yeah. This is mostly, Meredith gives better dating advice than I do, so then I just look at her and see if she agrees with me. Do you agree with me about that one, Meredith? All right, we're on the same page there. Yeah, all right. So I would just tell them, if you have a crush, talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. And and also don't be afraid to be like, yeah, you're a nice friend, but I don't want to make out. There's tons of people in the world you're not going to want to make out with, and you've got to understand that. And it's not like it's so difficult not to feel like there's so much pressure on romantic relationships. I think like it's so difficult to feel like it's not a it's so difficult to feel like it isn't the end of the world. Great save there by Amankwa. When someone doesn't like you or when something doesn't work out romantically, because you're told from a very young age that like this is the most important thing that you're going to do. Even when you're like in middle school or in high school, that you're told that like this is the most important relationship is going to be your romantic relationship. Well, no, just straight up no. Oh gosh, everything worked out better than expected. I just completely disagree with that. Like the most important relationships I had, and I had very important romantic relationships in high school, but the most important relationships that I had were friendships that weren't sexual or romantic. And like, I don't know, I just think we put so much pressure on romance that it becomes sort of stifling in a way. Oh, speaking of stifling, you've got to finish, Golden Child. That probably fell to the wrong head, as he is 4 feet 10 inches tall and 11 years old. Maybe ball John Green would have been better suited to that ball, but I didn't cross it to the right place. So it was the Golden Child, and I thought he did okay. Pass it to the Golden Child. Bo, what a great pass! Oh, we went too many. Oh my gosh, too many Y buttons. That was gorgeous play. And that would have been the time. The Golden Child really needed to finish there. That was gorgeous, though. We looked like Barcelona for a moment. Meredith, do I have another question? What is it? What do you do when a date gets awkward? Well, let me tell you, I have been on a lot of awkward dates because I used to do the internet dating. Meredith, have you ever done any internet dating? You haven't? You've never used the grinder? No? I mean Tinder? Oh, okay. Grinder is a all guy thing? Okay. You've never used either. Okay. All right. Well, now it's getting weird. Um, yes. So I used to do before Grinder or Tinder. I used to. I'm just not that well. I just don't know how people date these days. I'm old, okay? I used to do. There was a website, Nerve.com, and Nerve.com was a cool website about like sex and romance, and it had personal dating. And I used to do Nerve.com dating, and I met a lot of nice people. A lot of like PhD candidates in philosophy and anthropology at the University of Chicago and stuff. Very cool people. But I also had a lot of like wicked awkward dates, like incredibly awkward, where even in the middle of the date sometimes the young woman would be like, "This is awkward." And I would be like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I am really enjoying eating sausage in this German bar with you." And my strategy for dealing with awkward dates was to kind of like accept that it wasn't working. Like, there's no real, if there's not a real conversational spark and there's not a romantic spark and it's just super awkward, like sometimes you can overcome those awkward silences. But sometimes it's a sign that like, maybe not. Maybe this is not the right time or the right person. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Don't worry, the golden child is going to settle on the ball, and he's going to find a way to score because look at him. Oh, it's halftime. The golden child. That was a good first half from the Wimbly Womblys, but it's still 0-0 to Leicester City. Leicester? Lee Kester. Lee Kester would be a good name for a villain. All right, so, yeah, my advice is to acknowledge the awkwardness of the date, if possible, and then to politely extricate yourself from it. Nothing wrong with leaving. I mean, you don't want to like say like I'm just going to the bathroom and then not come back. But like, there's nothing wrong with like ending the date. Dates end, and they don't always end with kisses, and everyone knows that going in. Meredith, agree or disagree? Meredith agrees. What's my next question? Is it okay to date your friend's ex? Yeah, it's treacherous. Treacherous. It depends on the situation. I don't know. I was just talking to someone who is active in the world of like development and food aid, but instead of talking about that and like how to cure typhus, what is wrong with me today? Instead of trying to cure Grinder, but instead of trying to talking about how to cure typhoid, we were talking about exes, and she was telling me that that her like that she was engaged to a guy who left her for her roommate at the time, and then they got married, and then like flash forward 20 years, they got divorced, and he showed up at their college reunion and was like, I have always loved you. And this was tremendously rewarding for her, of course, because like it sucks to get to lose both your best friend and your boyfriend at the same time because they start hooking up together. This is actually one of Meredith's areas of expertise, so perhaps we should ask her. But yeah, I think it's difficult though because you also don't want to say like, oh well, like if this is going to be a really fulfilling relationship for you. But it's a matter of empathy. You've got to, oh gosh. I'm struggling to empathize with Leicester City right now because I feel that on the balance of the game, we've been far better. And that's just unfortunate. That is an unfortunate goal. You can't really blame Amonkwa for that, although you do have to wonder if Seb Brown, who did famously save two penalties against Luton Town to put us into the Football League. You got to wonder if Seb makes that save. But no, I don't think that's Seb's. I don't think that's Amonkwa's fault. I think it's just the fault of the, sometimes the fault is not in ourselves, but in our stars. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little frustrating, but life is full of frustration, small and large. I still believe that John Green's give us our best chance to score right now, but I am of half a mind to bring on Deeney and or Dicko, just because don't be offside. Don't be offside. Oh, that's a great job. The patron saint of lost crosses. The golden child is in the middle, but he's a tiny, tiny man. Oh. Oh, that was difficult to watch. I have no desire to instant replay. I don't even, that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to make some substitutions. My heart breaks for the golden child because he's just brilliant at getting into position, but he's just so little. He's just tiny. We're going to bring on Kaz, who's the exact same size. Then we're going to bring on Dicko, and we're going to bring on Dini. They only like to play together. They love the John Greens. They get along really well, particularly Dicko and the John Greens now that they're all parents. But I think right now we've got to be honest about wow, you're way out of your goal. I think we've got to be honest about where we are as a club and say that Dini and Dicko give us our best chance to score. All right, there's K. St. Luce to the golden child. Pass it to, yes, that's kind of good. Oh, that's frustrating. Do I have any more romance advice questions, Meredith? Why does no one want to date you? It's complicated. Everything is complicated. And there's lots of possible reasons. I don't know you. But I also don't. Oh! With his last touch of the ball. Ball, John Green, he gives it all for the team. Upon his mustache, wear keen. Bald John Green. Who did that ball come in from? Did it come in from the patron saint of lost crosses? I was too excited to notice. Oh, that was beautiful. Off comes the golden child, John Green for Dicko, Dini, and Kaz as we go all out to try to win this game. So it's possible that, first off, it's possible that it isn't a case of no one wanting to date you. It's just a case of the people who you want to date not wanting to date you. The second thing that I would say is that it's also possible. I mean, there's lots of possibilities. So I can't be very specific because I don't know you personally and anything. But it's also possible that it's just a time of life thing. But I will say, there have been lots of times in my life, and I don't know if this is true for you, where I've really, 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 really wanted to be in a romantic relationship. And, maybe I wanted it for healthy reasons, and maybe I didn't, but it didn't actually matter that much because I really, really wanted it. And it seemed, and still seems to me, a little bit unfair to not have that, to, not have that kind of partnership when you really want it and kind of need it. And I'm very sympathetic to that because I think that it's, lots of people are like, oh, you'll be in a relationship when it's the right time, but it still sucks if you want, if you don't want to be single and you are, if you, and you can say all you want that oh, it's, there's all these societal pressures and that makes it so that, you never feel whole or full when you have really fulfilling friendships if you don't have a romantic relationship. And I think all of that's true, but lots of times you still want something that you don't have, and that's difficult. And if you don't honor the fact that it's difficult and acknowledge it, then I think you're kind of miserable. Well, it's a good point, a comeback point, but obviously we would have preferred 3 points at home. Still, the AFC Wimbledon fans loyally holding their Wimbly Wombly scarves above their heads. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being awesome. I'll try to do some more romance questions next time. Best wishes.